Welcome to Dub Life Diaries, the podcast where passion meets the open road. I'm Joe Person, your host, and also a lifelong dubber. Buckle up, because this ride is just beginning. This podcast is sponsored by Volksmania Magazine. Good times, great cars, awesome Volksmaniacs. Visit Volksmania.com to learn more about this class-leading VW magazine. All right, so welcome back to Dub Life Diaries. It's going to be a good one. All right, now you ever notice how the best communities actually don't start from strategy? They actually start from need, don't they? And it's not the kind of need that you can measure. It's the kind that you can feel. The kind that, well, something in your life kind of shifts and you realize that those are the kind of people that you want to be around again. That's where this story starts today with Josh Williams back in 2025, trying to bring light into a pretty heavy situation in his life, which was his dad battling cancer. And instead of overthinking it, man, he kept it really simple. A backyard, a grill, and a handful of Volkswagens. An open invite, no business plan, no rules, no expectations. But what showed up that day was far more than anybody expected. People are always hungry for something real. And that's what I noticed. I'm sure you guys noticed the same thing. What started as a small get-together quietly turned into 303 Dubs, a community that's growing fast, and they're doing things differently. How? No ego at the top, no drama in the mix, just a shared respect for each other and a deep love for classic air-cooled cars. Here's the interesting part, though. It's not the cars that are making this thing work. It's the culture. It's the intention. It's the fact that this wasn't built to impress people. It was built to bring people together. Today, we're jumping into the full story, how it started, what it's becoming, and why it's resonating with so many people around Denver, Colorado. So let's get into it. Josh Williams, welcome to Dub Life Diaries.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, brother.
What up, man? Yeah, this is going to be a good one. Now, you guys
First of all, that intro was so legit that this better be a good one, bro. I better do my job on the other side because your intro was awesome. It was on point, and thank you for that. That was freaking great.
Oh, man, you're welcome. Before we dive in, let me give a shout out real quick to maybe a couple shout outs, couple sponsors. First up on the list, Volksmania Magazine. Everybody knows how I feel. Flyest VW magazine on the face of the planet. Check these guys out, Volksmania.com. You can use DubLife10 at checkout. That's DUBLIFE, the number 10, to get 10% off of your subscription. Here's what's cool about this. I actually have to say that this is US subscribers only, because Paul let me know that there are people outside the US trying to use my discount code. What? How cool is that, bro? That's so cool. People in other countries trying to use my discount code. So let's go. That's so cool. All right. Second on the list, Salty Dub. From the beach all the way to the bay, Salty Dub is tearing up the coastal VW scene, events, swag. Check these guys out, saltydub.com. Same discount code works, DubLife10. Shout out to Vera Upholstery of St. Pete. These guys are busting out high-class interiors for the marine industry. They've also got their new automotive line. When I say automotive, guys, I mean it. Now, Alan, the owner, total artist, total badass, total visionary. His 73 thing, won best in class at Bug Jam. And if you see the interior, you understand how badass Vera Upholstery is. I said this on the last couple of shows, but I'm going to say it again because, Josh, I want you to hear this. The fucking stitching in the seats, all right, on the perimeter of the seats, the stitching is the VW logo. Okay.
That's clean right there.
Who thinks about shit like that? So sick, so awesome. But check these guys out, VeraUpholsteryFL.com. You'll see some of their work. Awesome guys, awesome team. Last shout out, my brother, and it's back to you, is Vinyl Wagon. My buddy Josh at Vinyl Wagon. Check it out, yo. I got stickers. So if you've been on the podcast in the past, inbox me your mailing address. I'm going to send you a couple of these stickers so you can rep them. Get them on your car. Send me the pictures. Let me see what's up. Josh got me right. Make sure he gets you right too. Vinylwagon@gmail.com. That's it, dude. I'm done with shout outs, done with sponsors. Back to you, my friend. I'm excited for this one.
Yes, sir, man. The shout outs are legit though. Like the guys that you involve yourself around are freaking at the highest level, man. The fact that they pay attention to the VW and the stitching, who does that, you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Stickers are biggest thing I've ever seen. I used to be big in the skateboard scene, and it's funny how big stickers were then, and it died. It felt like for a long time. I'm, in the Volkswagen scene, I think stickers are massive.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've got some backing with some freaking sweet people. Salty Dubs. What is there a better name than Salty Dubs?
Yeah, so cool, man. That's a
Right.
promotions company and a swag company that me and my buddy Alan started down here in West Coast Central Florida.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, yeah, dude, you've got great sponsors, you got great stuff. Your podcast is on point. I'm excited to do this and kind of spend the next hour with you. So yeah, let's roll with it.
Thank you, brother. All right, well, let's do it, man. Let's jump in. All right. So, for people that don't know you yet, just bring me back a little bit. Tell me, who is Josh Williams?
Man, a short little fat bald guy out of Colorado. It's funny. You ever seen the movie Twins with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Of course.
So yeah, man. My brothers are both like 5'11", 6 foot with a full head of hair, and then I came out, bro, and I'm like, yo, dad, what's up, man? So that's been my go-to for the longest time is the Danny DeVito of my family. But man, I grew up in Colorado. I'm married to my beautiful wife Trisha. We've got four beautiful daughters. Just grew a family, stayed in Colorado, haven't left. Whole life has been here and around basically what we do here in the 303. So that's it.
All right. So, let's talk about the 303. What was life like kind of growing up in Denver?
It's so different compared to where it's at right now. I was looking back at a picture that was posted, I think it was in the 80s. I'm a 76 kid. That's when I was born. I just turned the big 50. So
7-7 for me.
I'm looking, yeah, there you go, man. So I was looking at this picture the other day of Denver. We used to have Stapleton Airport where the planes would go across the highway. You could literally see them land. You could go down there, hang out. It was just not as much as the, hustle and bustle that it is today. Growing up in Colorado was phenomenal. Think about it. You have everything but the ocean, which is a downfall. But I could go ski, or I was a snowboarder, so I snowboarded. But if I want to go snowboard, you could skate in the same day. You have every activity you could ever want. The weather is phenomenal. I think we're one of the sunniest states in the nation. So, growing up in Colorado was freaking awesome. It was there. I don't know if it could be any better than it was.
And I love that. Colorado is probably second home for me. 9 years I spent out there, Colorado Springs, Canyon City, Florence area. Had two of my kids out there. I've got a whole life and memories out there. My sister lives in Denver. She's got a company out there. My mom's out in Coal Creek, which is attached to Canyon, right next to Canyon City. Man, I've just got a whole history out there. I've been frequenting, every summer I'd come out to that area and hit the Skyline Drive and the Royal Gorge Bridge and just all that fun stuff. And just growing up there, man, I got so many memories myself. So as you talk
Yeah.
about some of that stuff, I'm like, yeah, man, I got some of those memories too. And I'm going to agree with you. I think Colorado is probably one of my favorite states outside of where I'm at, where I'm born and raised. Let's talk about cars though. When did
Yeah.
cars become more than, well, I don't know, just cars for you?
I mean, it was, I got two older brothers, and, I remember having a Fiat Spider broken down on the side of my house that never did run, but it was always the thing that, my brother was like, hey, we're going to get this thing up and running. We're going to go. And then, my other brother, his first car was a red Baja Bug. It was legit. It was the first rap song I ever heard was in that Bug, and that
Straight
took
out
me
of
to that.
Compton?
Oh, man, it was very close. It was too short. Fight the feeling. So,
Oh, yeah.
uh-huh. Can I ask you a question? I'll leave it at that. But
Yeah.
that was it was just growing up in the 80s out there, the cars been thing. And then, my dad had a car club he grew up on the north side of Denver. If you come out to Denver now, you've got like seven different names for the north side, but we're here and we're OGs and we're like, it's north side Denver. That's where it's at, right? And so my dad had a car club down there, so he was always kind of big into the car scene. And
Okay.
so, cars were always a part of the life. They weren't big in it until I got behind the wheel. And it's funny, one of my first cars was a Volkswagen Quantum. Most people are like, what is a Quantum? And it's just basically, to me, it was like a luxury Jetta, man. And when I pimped that thing out and going to the park on Sundays with my house speaker in the trunk,
Oh, come
that's when it became real, man. Is you're going to the park, you've got, it's 90s, so it's all hip hop, it's gangster rap, all this stuff, right? And we're down on, going to Berkeley Park or going to Pepsi or all these different parks that we cruise, and you're watching all these phenomenal cars. Back then, it was a lot of lowriders, right? Lowriders
Right.
rolling through big
10, yeah.
systems.
Mini
And
trucks.
yeah, it got me. Like that's where I was like, okay, this is stuff I want. I always want to have nice cars. I always want to do cool stuff with cars. And that scene Sunday afternoon parks, man, through high school is what really triggered it all for me.
What kind of kid were you though? Were you always into like, building things, or did that maybe come later in your life?
It definitely came later in life. I mean, as a kid, we were big athletes in my family, so we all loved to play a ton of sports. So, the only thing that we built was teams and culture within the teams and good friendships and that type of stuff. That is the things that we really focused on and kind of what I guess molded us as kids is how tight knit my community was and the things that we did, but it was all through sports and those types of things. So, never was it I'm gonna build a car. It was just like, hey, how do we build great friendships, right? And it's funny, I to this day, Joe, I coach with my best friend since we were 5 years old. We coach a high school baseball team together. And,
Cool,
my
man.
other one of my other best friends since kindergarten, we coached softball together. I mean, these are what we built was just relationships, man. That was our focus. It wasn't so much, hey, let's go build a car. It was like, hey, we want long lasting friendships. And that's what we did.
Now you got this kind of this essence, this vibe of this like kind of builder of communities. Was that always there for you, even through your childhood?
I mean, I think it was, yeah. I mean, I was never like picky, like, hey, I'm gonna go hang with this crew. I'm gonna go hang with this crew. Every once in a while, I found myself hanging out with some people more than others, but we were all very we invited everybody in, man. We didn't care who you were, where you came from. None of us came for money back then. So it was like, we didn't care what your status was. We just wanted to be homies. Do we like same things? And if it was, then we went and created it and we hung out with each other.
Sweet. Let's talk about 303 Dubs for a second then.
Yeah.
Didn't really start like a typical car club starts, right? It started for your dad. Kind of walk me through that moment, when this kind of came to fruition for you.
Yeah, man. So my dad got diagnosed with a kind of different skin cancer, right? So it was actually in his mouth. And so it was under his tongue. And so he had to remove part of his tongue and stuff like that. And we didn't know how long we were going to have him. And I was like, I love my Volkswagen. I got this dope 71 Volkswagen. I've got friends in the Volkswagen scene. We've been around the Volkswagen scene since we were in high school. So I was like, let's start a club that because and it was all based on my dad ran the Malteseman back in the 60s in North Denver. That was the name of his car club. And so I was like, okay, so our original OG logo was the Maltese cross, and it had the VW in the middle and it said 303 Dubs. And it was all just for my dad. I want to make my dad happy, man. He's been a phenomenal guy in my life, a big role model. He's been around for all of it, and I was like, how do I bring a smile to his face? And 303 Dubs that's where it all came from. That is right there, just trying to take a little bit off my dad's shoulder and put a smile on his face.
He's still with us, right?
He is, yeah. So he literally got diagnosed with cancer. Almost lost him about a month and a half ago. He spent almost 40 days in the VA and finally just got home out of the VA a couple of weeks ago, man. We thought we had lost him a few times, but
Oh,
that man is a fighter. He is epitome of what you call Northside Denver. The guy fights. He's not ready to go. He loves life so much that he's like, hey, I'm here. I'll go when I'm ready, and it's not
oh,
now.
that's
Yep.
awesome, man. That's awesome. Let's
Yep.
talk about that first barbecue. What really happened versus what was expected.
Yeah. And what was expected was we had no idea, man. We're like, hey, let's throw this barbecue out to the Volkswagen community. So my boy, we'll talk about him later, but my homie Troy, who I've known since I came out of the womb, had just got his ride. I had mine. We had went to a show. It was cool. And we're like, dude, let's do something. We started 303 Dubs. Like, let's do an end of the year barbecue. And this year it was unusually warm in the state of Colorado. So this is in November that we're running a barbecue. I threw it out there on the Volkswagen enthusiast page of Colorado, and I didn't know anything else. I didn't know the scene, where are the places to put it out there. We thought maybe 5 cars would roll through. They just kept showing up. They just kept coming in. Next thing you know, my neighbors are like, yo, do you want to use my driveway? Because you ran out of room in yours. My neighbors across the street are like, hey, you can park some cars over here if you want. We ended up with 26 cars at the barbecue. And I mean, I think maybe we knew 5 people. That's how cool the community is, man.
Yeah,
Is
man.
that they just rallied and they came out. It was nothing more than just let's get together and have an end of the season barbecue, enjoy each other's company, and go from there. And that's all it was supposed to be.
So what flipped in your brain? Was it seeing that kind of a turnout? Like what flipped and made you say, "Oh, hold on a second, man. This might actually be starting something or be the beginning of
Yeah.
something."
Well, I've always loved to be a leader. I've always loved to grow things. I've always loved to
There it is.
bring communities together.
Yeah.
When I saw that, my wife actually, I was laughing about this earlier today. My wife was like, I freaking knew it. I saw like your eyes wide open and you were like, "Oh shit, this is it. Like we're gonna go grow something right now." And she's been with me through my skate shops and every business I've done and she knows that look in my face when it comes in there. She saw the glow, she saw the excitement and it was on at that point. That I saw that there was a need obviously for cool things to happen. I don't know what had happened in the previous years of the Volkswagen scene because I had been out of it a little bit.
Mhm.
But it brought excitement. Everyone there was excited. Everyone there was getting together, having conversations. The parking was cool. The pictures were cool. I'm throwing my freaking drone up there, just looking at shit. It was just such an environment that I was like, I want more of it. The thirst of having more of that is what hit.
Mm. Hell yes. So let's go back to beginning. Like, who were some of the most early, I guess, believers that really, linked with you and really helped you push this thing forward?
So, well, let's talk about Troy Breeze because that's my guy right there, man. I tried to buy a Volkswagen. I think it was a 67 or 66 from Troy, like probably 8 years previous to that. That freaking dude sold that shit at a garage sale, and I was so pissed that he did not sell that to me. You got to remember, Troy was my next door neighbor. He was actually best friends with my older brothers. But my brothers had moved, and me and Troy just kind of stayed in touch. And now this one of my best friends, right? But he got his ride, and I was like, dude, you got to get a ride. We're gonna start this club up. We're gonna do it for my dad. He's obviously known my dad his whole life, and he was all in. It was no questions, man. It was just like, yeah, let's freaking do this. I'm excited to make it happen. So from the get-go, Troy has been my ride or die guy, been by me, challenged me, brought new ideas, all the things that you need in order to get things going. So Troy Breeze, freaking stud, man. That's my go-to. And then, dude, we went to a Cars and Coffee of all places. I met this guy named Brandon Aki. And Brandon is this animated Hawaiian dude, owns this, Aloha windows. He's freaking like talking, and I'm like, dude, I'm a sales guy. This is a sales guy talking. Like, can we coexist, He's one of my best friends today. We hang out and talk all the time. Matter of fact, I'm in his office right now doing this podcast. So
Oh, cool.
Brandon saw it and he was like, bro, I want to be in. I want to be part of this. Brandon's history and stories of car clubs and bikes and stuff. So he was like, I'm in. And then it just kind of grew from there. So then our next guy in was Jaime Acosta. And we'll just leave it at that. Those first four right there
Okay.
is what the belief was in, got things rolling. Um, but I do have to give one more shout out as we move on, and that's
Okay.
to a guy named Sean Stapp. Sean rolls up, big goatee. You're like, this dude's cool. Don't know anything about him. He is one of the most genuine, incredible human beings I've ever met in my life. Him joining 303 Dubs literally is what took it to another level. Because he's very respected human being. He also was a guy who came from basically nothing and went and grew a dynasty in what he's doing with his plumbing company. But it's him. It's not his cars, man. Although he's got some dope ass cars, Joe. His cars are freaking cool as shit. But he is just a phenomenal person, and he's one of those people that everybody wants to be around, and that's what we want to have within 303 Dubs is that community. And he just took it to the next level, and we've ran with it since then.
Now, you guys are from what I gathered, kind of it seems like you're selective, right? And that's, sometimes in the car scene that can be rare. Why is that important for you guys to be selective?
Yeah, it's culture is everything, man. You've ran companies, you've been part of leadership teams. If you have a bad culture, it can kill everything super quick. And we are selective because we want to make sure that people fit our culture. We want to make, I mean, we're just an air-cooled club, right? So we don't have the water cool, we don't have other stuff. We're a Volkswagen air-cooled club. You got to fit that culture to start with. You got to be freaking cool. In not in like, hey, I'm the one of the cool guys on the block, but in like, hey, there's no drama.
Yeah.
Like I can let things slide off my shoulders if there's a comment said, and hey, I can go address those things if there's a comment said without feeling some sort of way about it. If you can't be no drama, if you can't be kind of, on the cool side of things, if you don't have a Volkswagen, then you're not a good fit for us. Doesn't mean you're not a good fit for somebody else. It's just not for 303 Dubs.
Yeah, I like it. So, from a leadership perspective, how do you protect the culture without the feeling becoming exclusive, right? In a bad way, because sometimes that can happen in a culture, right? It can become exclusive in a bad way.
Yeah.
How do you protect it?
Well, I think that here the biggest key I think is making it selective, but not like no one can be in. We will invite anybody, right? So if they're fitting within the culture. So it's not like we're like, no, we're done. Nobody else gets in. Screw everybody else. This is where we're at. And we're inviting. We want a community. We want this club to grow. We want it to be strong. But we do have to put rules down sometimes. We did not bring a guy in because he was super drama, man. And it's funny. I've got text messages from him saying, "Hey, I'm not about that drama. I'm about, community and family." And bro, it couldn't have been different than where it was. But the way we protected it is we have people come hang out with us as a crew before we just pull the trigger and say, yeah, you're in, right? So everybody has an opportunity to come hang out with 303 Dubs. Do you fit? Do you like us? You may not like us, man.
Right.
We might be too much for you. So, but everybody gets that opportunity, and that's how we protect it is by just setting I guess just guidelines on how to get into 303 Dubs.
Now you mentioned something a second ago. You said no drama, right? Now what I read in your backstory was no drama is like one of the core values of 303 Dubs. How do you guys actually enforce the no drama? You just it's a no, we're not taking it policy. That's
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
One way
it's
street.
it's a conversation that is had when they come into the club. So anybody that comes in the club, one of the first things the conversation I have is, listen, we are a no freaking drama club. So if you like the spill the tea, if you like to go do the gossip, BS, all that stuff, then we're just probably not a good fit for you. We will talk shit to each other. We're grown ass men. We're going to talk shit all day. That's something we do, right? That's part of the fun.
Yeah,
If
you
you
better.
can't handle that, we're also not a good club for you because we will talk a lot of smack. But it's all out of love. It's all out of just building, just a community together to do those things. So I think that answered your question. I wasn't quite sure. Give it to me again.
No, it did. It did. It did.
Okay.
I was basically just saying, no drama is one of your core values. How do you guys really enforce it? And the way that you enforce it is you have a zero tolerance policy.
Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, I think you hit it. You hit it.
And
So
here's the other thing, just to reiterate on the no drama. Like I've coached high school varsity baseball. I've coached high level softball. Man, talk about drama. Okay. Dude, I got four daughters, but high level softball, you will get some drama because it gets very clicky within that. The
mm.
best way to do it is you take the two of them together, you go sit down at a picnic table, you say, figure this shit out because we're not doing it. And that is something we might have to do at 303 Dubs if it gets to that point. Is hey, I'm gonna get you on the phone, I'm gonna get you on the phone, or hey, we're gonna go meet up somewhere, we're gonna deal with this. If you can't get over it, it's cool. There's other clubs to go be a part of, but if you can't get over it, then you can't be here, right? You got to get over it. Never go to bed angry, right? I'm sure you've heard that
Hey,
said
man,
before.
that's
Same
the
thing in the
that's the
club, man.
Bible.
Don't go to the next day angry with somebody. Just go handle your shit.
So, what do you think from a leadership perspective? What do you think kills most car clubs from the inside?
What we just spoke about, man,
Drama.
is the drama, the guys not being able to handle, a little trash talk, guys, getting taking stuff personal. We are grown ass men having fun driving cool cars. How can it be any worse than I mean, it could be a lot of ways worse than that. It doesn't get much better than that, right? So I think what people have to do is remove themselves from like your car is better than my car. Hey, I won this award, you didn't. Bro, why don't we just go have fun? We're driving some of the coolest cars that are on the freaking road today. Everyone has a story about a Volkswagen.
Oh yeah.
It's it brings people together. Why not embrace that? Why not just go and be part of that versus hey, I don't like you. Don't shake my hand. Hey, I don't like you. I don't want to see you. All right, bro. Then go live your miserable life. We're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna have no drama, and we're gonna go to every event as a crew, just bringing that culture and that excitement to what we when we show up. That's what we want to stand for.
Yeah, I like it. I love it. In my professional life, it reminds me of how I have to craft and shape technicians a lot of times out there in the world because one of the first, ways I start my training sessions is I ask people, especially people that have never trained with me before, are you coachable? Right? That's a very basic question. Are you coachable? Are you trainable? And then they say yes. And I say, okay, if you're coachable, then man, tell me what being coachable really means to you. And then I get their answer. And then the first time I try to either reprimand or, draw the line in the sand and say, okay, you said you were coachable. Here's this. What you hear back a lot of times from guys is, oh, tried that. Oh, did that. Did this too. Yep. And every time you bring something up to them or you say something, they've already done it or tried it. You're like, dude, I can't help you if you can't let me help
Yeah,
you. You fucking
right.
you're finishing my sentences before I even have a chance to, right? Like, so I kind of can vision that, being inside of drama, inside of guys, inside of car clubs. We've got Salty Dub down here. We put on shows. We got 150, 250, 300 cars that show up at some of our shows. I feel the cliquish nature. Uh,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I feel it in the dub scene. Hate that it's there in some regard, but bro, that's just life in general. You're either coachable or you're not. It's like, you know what I mean? You're either gonna
Bro,
get
that
along with
you
us or
couldn't
you're
have said
not.
it any better right there. That's on point. That's it.
Yeah,
And people don't think about those things when it comes to like the car club scene, right? They think about it in the business world, but at the end of the day, we're an organization of men and women that come together that have
yeah,
liked interests and love stuff. Every once in a while, there's going to be some people that are going to say something stupid that's going to offend somebody else. Are you coachable to learn how not to do that moving forward? And are you coachable to like let shit go? Can you let shit go?
yeah.
Man, my wife tells me all the time, she gets pissed at me because I'm over the fight and she hasn't even like processed it yet, right? And so it's like, hey, I'm done. Are we good? Like, like that's funny, when guys get into altercations at car shows or whatever, I'm like, I'm good. Are you good? Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, bro,
Like,
you
that
want to
shit's
go grab
already
a
behind
drink?
me.
Yeah,
It's
let's go,
already in the
man.
past. Yeah, let's
Life's
move
too
on.
short, bro.
We exactly, dude, exactly. All right, let's touch on loyalty.
Yeah.
What does loyalty look like in your world?
I mean, the biggest thing to me being loyal is it's not even just like being part of 303 and staying part of 303. Being loyal is being true to who you are so that you're true to everyone else around you, right? And so if you're not in the background yapping, talking smack, creating all this drama, then you're being loyal to yourself and you also are being loyal to those around you because you're not creating what could turn into the biggest drama. So loyalty is truly having your people's back, truly being embraced in what the vision is and what the goal is to move forward. It's all of those things embraced. You don't even have to be part of 303 to have that loyalty. You can just be that as a person, right? Some like we got one guy that he just doesn't want to do the club thing. But dude, he's actually pretty freaking loyal to us as a club. He just doesn't want to do the club thing, and that's okay. But he's still a loyal guy. I trust that guy. I'll talk to that guy. If he messes up, I'll call his ass out and he'll own it, right? And
Yeah,
so that's
that's
to me,
important.
loyalty is just it's a big word. I think it's super important. I think it keeps the drama out. And at the same time, you don't have to worry about people going behind your back creating just a bunch of bullshit that doesn't need to be there.
I love that. That doesn't need to be there for sure. And you see that, we're all just a bunch of big ass kids. Let's be real.
100%.
So unfortunately that exists at times, but yeah, man, we're getting too old for this stuff that don't need to be there, and
As soon
like
as
you
I
said
hit that
earlier,
5-0, I'm like, come on.
right?
I mean, don't be wrong. I was like that at like 25. Like, come on, let's move on. But especially at 50 years old, like, I don't need damn drama.
Oh, bro, we're already like fucking 66% through this fucking trip. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not trying to, yeah, no, dude. No, no, no. It's about moving on and moving up. Like I'm not even trying
Yes.
to harbor any negativity in my life. Attitude determines outcome. And if that's the truth, then fuck, my outcome is going to be really good because my attitude's really good. If your
Bro, say
attitude
that for me one more
sucks,
time.
attitude determines your outcome. If
So
your
good.
attitude sucks, your fucking life's going to suck. Your attitude is everything in your life. If you have a positive attitude, let's go. We're winning. If you don't, fuck, you're kind of, as they say in the South, you're sucking hind tit. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not, you know.
Dude, that is so like I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna use that for so many things moving forward because I freaking love that so much. So, dude, that's a gem right there. If you're watching this episode, write that shit down, implement that into your life because that's a freaking gem right there from Joe.
Oh, thanks, man. All right, let's talk about the poker cruise, 303 poker cruise. How did this idea come together?
So it really came together from that guy who's not a club guy, right? Who it just I was sitting next to him and I'm talking to him about stuff. He's like, and I'm like, dude, I want to do different shit. I want to do stuff that we're not doing, but maybe they're doing in other scenes and whatever. And he's like, well, I did this poker cruise one time, and I'm like, tell me more, right? I'm like, I'm just learning and learning, and that's where it all came from. Brandon Hando, man, he gave me the idea and I just ran with it. And then I got Troy involved. I got Brandon involved. I got Jaime involved. We got Sean. The whole crew started getting more and more involved in what we were doing. And it wasn't so much like, let's keep it real. The day of the cruise, we get to the first stop, Berkeley Park, which was one of the Sunday parks I used to cruise back when I was in high school. So it was like, this whole nostalgia thing for me. So we get to the park and I'm like, we're going to have our club and no one else is showing up. Let's see how this goes. Dude, 40 plus cars later, people I've never even met in the scene are all rolling in. And I'm like, you got to be effing kidding me. This is freaking legit. Now, I got to give props. I mean, dude, we had cool shit. We had Chris from Driven 60. He donated or let us raffle off some of his cup holders. Dude, those are some of the coolest cup holders out there. I mean, people want to try to win that. It was only $20 for the cruise. So you're like, and you got raffle tickets for just being part of it. King VW, enough said. The guy is a legend. He hooked us up with an amazing price on a shifter, Black Mamba shifter, and we were able to raffle that thing off. So people are seeing like, okay, this is not just a cruise, but holy shit, for real, Chris from Driven 60, King VW's throwing stuff in. Adams Polishes, which is they were a huge sponsor. They did 5 $100 gift cards, which is like, I mean, that's a lot. So we had great prizes. It was really well set up. The cruise itself, epic spots, man. So Berkeley's okay, whatever, that's cool. But downtown Golden, Colorado's legit. You got the big arch that says "Welcome to Golden, Colorado." People know it. It's a very big car scene in Golden. So being able to roll through there, and then we go to iconic Red Rocks, man.
I was
Everyone
going to
knows
bring
Red
that up.
Rocks.
I was going to bring that up. People know Red Rocks all over the world for a concert venue. It's
Yeah,
like mentioning Garden of the Gods, down in Colorado
right.
Springs. What's that like, bro? To experience a ride or a poker run or a cruise through an area like that? Like describe the experience.
Watching it go from a thought to actually happening and watching all of those Volkswagens, those 40 plus Volkswagens run through the tunnel of this big rock that they come through to come up and circle around to go into the parking lot. It's just like it's some in some ways it's almost undescribable because the feeling was so cool. It was like, bro, we freaking that right there. it nailed it. Like we could not have another stop, but that stop right there is the shit. Then they all go park and you can oversee all of Denver, right? And it was just a phenomenal spot. We were able to all park together. There was plenty of room. We had our table set up for everyone to go get their cards and do their things. And we got to spend some extra time up there for people to take some extra pictures. And the cool thing is we did it. It wasn't a run, man. This was a cruise. So we were all together the whole time versus a run where people are running across town, different stops. This was
Nice.
a this was a poker cruise, and you got rewarded by being at every stop because we did also raffles at every stop.
Ah,
So if you pull the card, and I was able to say, "Hey, seven of diamonds," and whoever pulled that seven of diamonds, they won whatever that prize was. If there was two people pulled the seven of diamonds, we did a dice roll off, right, to bring a little more excitement to it. So
oh,
uh, it was just freaking fun, man. And Red Rocks was it's just a great stop. And then from Red Rocks, we cruised down to Mile High Stadium. If you're a Broncos fan, if you're a football fan, you know of Mile High Stadium.
period.
It's they're a big team. Everybody knows them. But it wasn't only Mile High. It was where we were at Mile High. It was the Colfax Viaduct. We're underneath it. It's all painted these different colors. Dude, it was so freaking badass. It was so badass. So again, tons of pictures there, tons of people just getting out going, dude, this is so freaking incredible. And we ended up at City Park. Um, Honestly, probably one of my least favorite stops, even though it was still cool. It just didn't bring like the excitement to me that the other ones did. And then we ended up at Flight Co, which is a like a brewery and which is like 5 minutes away from City Park. And those guys forgot we were coming.
Oh,
We had 75 people, man, and they forgot we were coming. And
how the hell
they
did that even happen?
I have no idea. No idea. I'm like, I left messages, I did all this stuff. They freaking rallied and put us in this backspace, which it just completed the entire cruise. It was freaking
It's
awesome.
it's
We
meant
did
to
the
be.
giveaways.
Meant to be.
And you remember I mentioned Sean Stapp earlier.
Mhm.
Sean Stapp and his plumbing company, Stapp Plumbing, went ahead and said, "Hey, Josh, I like what we're doing. I like that we're giving away 300. I think it was 150 and 75 for the first, second, third best hands." He goes, "I'm going to up it." He goes, "I want to give away 500 for the first hand, 300 for the second hand, and 100 for the third hand." And I was out of his own pocket. So it just does. It was an epic day. It was epic stops. I think it was a legendary start for what's going to be turned into an annual thing for the 303 Dubs Poker Cruise.
Yeah, man, love it, love it. Let's touch on the Denver DubFest.
Holy shiz.
What's the vision here for the DubFest?
All right, so I got to give props to Desert Dubs down in AZ.
Okay.
In February, we some of us as a crew went down to Desert Dubs, and again, talk about what my wife saw earlier with my glow. I saw what they did, and I saw the vision of just an air-cooled show that we have not had in Colorado. We've had VW shows, but water-cooled, air-cooled, all those. I wanted to do just an air-cooled show, pretty much replicating what those guys I feel like perfected down there. And so that's where it came from. And Denver Dub Fest is going to be one of the coolest freaking shows that I feel like Colorado's ever had when it comes to air-cooled Volkswagens. Again, we're back underneath the Colfax Viaduct at Mile High. That's where we're at. That's where the show is going to be. We've got phenomenal people. So, like, we met some guys down at Desert Dub Fest, Wolfburg Society out of California, one of the coolest clubs out there. They've already hit me up like, "Hey, Josh, we're gonna try our best to get out there. We love it. We're looking at plane tickets." The guy from Volks Life, I'm sure you've seen. If you're in the Volkswagen scene, you've seen Volks Life. He's like, or he's already booked his tickets. He's coming out with his wife and one of his models. We're excited to have those guys come out. These are things that we just haven't had in the Colorado scene ever. And we're bringing people from out of state. I've got people from Wyoming. I've had people from New Mexico reach out to me. And I just posted this shit 3 weeks ago. And I've got all these people reaching out to me. So
Dude,
again, I think it's something that people want. They
for
want
sure.
different things. They want to see
Yeah.
something that's really cool. And they're just jumping on, man.
Yeah, well that's it's Denver. It's culture, it's rich. It's, it's like, Yeah, and you're doing it right. You got some big names involved. You get, as we would know it as like kind of street cred from having,
Yeah.
some big names and some people that will just share a post or whatever, or even associate themselves with it. Donate some shit, help sponsor you a bit. I mean, dude, those are big, we have decent outcomes, down here in Florida for some of our rides, some of our car shows, V-dubs on the pier, V-dubs over the Skyway. I can feel, the ambiance of what you're describing because I know what it feels like to be the lead car with 440 cars behind me of a line that stretches over 2.5 miles long, and takes 35 minutes to pull into a parking lot. That shit is
Right.
it's epic. It's crazy. But we don't
Do you
have the
see the
big,
glow? Do you see the glow again, man? See what you got me going?
yeah,
That's
we
right.
don't have the names though. We don't got the Wolfsburg and Driven 60, and we don't have the names down here yet. And reasoning is because the car show scene and even the Volkswagen scene here is pretty popular. We're not the only ones doing a show.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
shows everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And that's cool, right? So it's kind of like we're getting our own little kind of slice of the pie. And there's enough to go around. I mean, shit, our
100%.
touts are really big. But it's a direction that we want to go in, and I think as our rides and our some of our events, our car shows continue to grow, I see that, happening as this podcast continues to grow. I see, some bigger names stepping in and, wanting
Oh
to
yeah.
be a part of it. So, I think that's pretty cool. But for you, let's talk on these bigger names, these more kind of established, companies slash groups. Uh, I don't know, man. I guess how's it feel? Do you feel like you're doing things the right way when you're getting backing and support from some of these big names?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm gonna grab this real quick. This was we were down at Desert DubFest, right? And Chris from Driven 60 comes over and he goes, "Hey, man, this is the first year we've done this award. It's just we're going to give it to either a club or somebody that just embraces what we're trying to accomplish in this scene." And he goes, "I want to give this to you guys at 303 Dubs. You guys came down here. You guys represented. You brought a good, just like attitude. We talked about earlier. And
Hey,
I want to give you this award." And he gave us this, and it's their inaugural one. They've been around for 5 years. They did it. We are new to the scene. We just started our club in August of 2025. And for us to get that tells me that we're doing something right. And maybe it's just the who we are as people and what kind of culture we're bringing and the
yeah,
ambiance that we have. But because of that, we're able to have these conversations with these great people that are established. So we're able to talk to Chris Davern and Chad Wilkins, who's part of Desert Dubs. Everybody knows Chad's car because it's everywhere because it's one of the coolest freaking cars out there. It's a great car, red. I mean, I can't even explain everything. It's just so cool. But meeting the guy who started Desert Dubs, absolutely stud, right? So what we've done is we said, okay, hey, we've established these relationships with them. How do we grow? How do we do these things? And so social media is such a freaking beautiful thing. It can be beautiful, it
powerhouse.
can be terrible, right?
Yes.
But we've just we've gone and friended all these guys on social media. They repost our stuff, we repost their stuff. We're new and we got these guys that are being established with these amazing clubs reposting some of the stuff we do because it's just a good culture. It's a
Yes.
good vibe and people love it. And so I feel like we're doing the right thing, but it's not like we created it. Let's keep it real. Joe, it's like what we do in the business world. We go see what works at different places, and then what we do is we implement it into our club and what we're doing, and we create values and culture around it. And that's what we've done. So, you got to give a shout out to those guys. The Wolfsburg Society guys, they just kind of like took us under their wing at Desert Dubs. We hung out with those guys quite a bit. Rhino, who drives the orange bay window bus, dude, it's one of the sickest bay window buses out there, and they win, constant prizes because of how cool their cars are. So we're just taking what a lot of other people have perfected and implementing it into our club that hasn't been something that's been done in Colorado before. There's great clubs in Colorado. Volkswagen Enthusiast of Colorado, Grant Aslan, you've had him on your show.
Yeah. Hey,
Dude,
my
Grant's a
boy.
stud, right? He's
Stud,
he's,
bro.
he's an
Stud. Love
absolute
that guy.
freaking stud. Yeah. So, I mean, he's doing great stuff with that club. And then you've got Eastern Plains Dub Club, which is funny. It's related to Grant through some family, right? It's his little brother Reed. And then you've got you got clubs out of Fort or Springs where you're at, right? PPAC, Pikes Peak, air cooled.
Yeah, yeah,
Clubs, cool air club up in Fort Collins, I think is where they're at. So there's all these other clubs here in Colorado. We just want to do something that is on a, I guess, a bigger level from where the scene is bigger, which is your Arizonas, your Californias, your Floridas. We want to bring that vibe into Colorado, and it's obviously working because we have gone from myself to Troy, and now we just did the math on it this morning. We're at like 17 members, and these are guys that have been established in the scene for a long time. They love what we're doing. They love the culture, and they're creating it. It's not us. They're helping us go create this fucking amazing culture.
yeah.
And it's so with all of those guys being part of it, we're just gonna keep doing cool shit, man. And it all goes back to the clubs that you were talking about.
I love what you said about, we just take a little bit of what's working and, kind of implement it into what we do. There's no, there should be a lot of pride in that. There should be no, no negativity in that because in business, they say all the time, success leaves clues. And if you want to
Yep.
be successful in business, all you got to do is pick the fucking clues up and implement them and you'll see
Yeah.
success. And so many people beat their head against the wall and they're like, no, man, I'm not a copycat. I'm not this. I'm not that. Oh, fuck that. I'm going to take what's working and I'm going to implement that shit. And I'm going to see success too, because that's how you maintain success, dude. You do
Yeah.
what works, not what you think or what you feel. There's no room for
Right.
feelings in business, right? So I love that you kind of have that approach. You don't have too much pride, where you're like, nah, man, we're going to do what works. We're not going to let our pride control or dictate an outcome because a lot of times, we're prideful. We're men. We might let our pride
Yep.
might get in the fucking way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
bro. It happens for
so
sure.
yeah, so happy to hear that. So tell me, man, at this point, is it still mostly about Volkswagens for you, or is it starting to cross over into something even bigger?
No, I mean, I think there will always be something to be about Volkswagens, but it has grown to something bigger as far as community and giving back and doing those things, right? It's because here's the thing, Joe, it's not about me, man. Like if you go on our social media pages, you will see my car less than you will see anybody else's car because this shit is not about me. This is about our club. This is about the cars, the people in the club. Um, my love language is to go and promote other people and get them to get things done, right? I love that. That's what I love to do. And so it's just not about me. It's about everybody else. It's about us as a team. It's about us as a club, about us as a community. And so it is growing in those aspects because I do want to see the Volkswagen scene in Colorado become like the Volkswagen scene in Arizona, like the Volkswagen, team or scene down in Florida and Cali. And we have enough Volkswagens here to do that. We just need something to bring it all together to make it a true community without the drama, without the bullshit, and let's just go have fun.
Well, just because you said it, I have to tell you, my love language is gifts and words of affirmation. So it's good that we can talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you said something else too, right? When you first kind of started, talking about that, you said, it's about community, it's about giving back. Tell me what that really means to you. What does it mean to 303 to be a VW community that gives back? What does giving back look like for you in live action?
I mean, it's just a place to exist, right? Like there's so many people go, man, the young people in this world have it way harder than we did growing up in the 70s and 80s. But even in the 70s and 80s, there was your cliques, there was your bullshit, all that stuff, right? I want to be able to give a Denver DubFest, a poker cruise, all these different places where everyone can come together with no judgment, no anything, and just truly be able to leave everything that this world is put on our shoulders behind, and just for one day be like, dude, that was freaking legit. I love to fly fish. I will go jump on a river, and I will be in a river for a day, and I forget about everything. I
Let's
want us to create something within this community where people come out to a 303 Dubs event and they go, bro, I didn't think about work tomorrow. I didn't think about the bullshit that happened yesterday. I didn't think about the guy over here that doesn't like me because I was just so engulfed in what we were doing, the fun, the ambiance, the surroundings that, dude, all I was thinking about was in the moment of what I'm doing. And so if we can create that within Colorado, if we can create that just mindset, that culture, that community, bro, we've won. That's where I think we're at.
Your heart's there. And because of that, it's genuine. And because it's genuine, the growth ain't going to stop, man. It's not going to stop. So let's talk on that for a second. Growth. Where's 303 Dubs 5 years from now?
Frickin' A, bro. That's such a hard question. It's like sometimes I'm like, hey, should we slow it down a little bit? Because it's like, Painters Grinding, one of the big shops here in town, had their roast fest this last Saturday. Couple of guys told me that have been in the scene. This is the biggest one they've seen. And one of the guys who I respect in the scene has been in the scene for a very long time said, hey, you guys have a big part to do with the turnout of this. And I'm like, no, we don't. I'm like, dude, we're just having fun. He goes, oh my God, would you take a compliment when I give you one? And I'm like, bro, my bad. My bad. Thank you. I appreciate that. Right. And so, look, man, we just want to keep focused on doing things the right way. And we're going to, we want people to be a part of it. And if people want to be a part of it, we don't want to take that from them. We want to invite them into it. So I could see 303 Dubs 5 years from now running some of the biggest events in the country here in Colorado. I could see us having one of the biggest clubs out there. And it's not about membership for me. I could care less about how many people are in it. I care about the culture. I care about what we're bringing back, and I care that we're helping the Volkswagen community have a spot to just go fucking have fun, bro. Let's just go have fun, forget the drama. And if you do this in 5 years from now when you're doing a podcast, you're like, yo, 303 Dubs, I had them on 5 years ago in their infancy stages. Look
Yeah.
at the shit they've created. I'll be like, bro, that's where I want to be.
Just remember these, the small guys down here at the bottom of the pond when you get there, right?
Dude, we have to make some. We're obviously gonna have to make some trips to Florida. That's gonna have to happen. So
Yeah. Well, my sister's out there, man. She's in Loveland, and I'll be back. I was there for her wedding just a couple of years ago. We were in Estes Park, and it was beautiful. And I've done, something about me that you don't know that I don't tell a lot of people is as a side hustle for many years in my past, I was actually a wedding officiant because I have no problem getting up in front of, fucking
yeah,
5,000 people and running my mouth. That's just what I've always done, always been in sales and always been a talker. So in 2008, my mom, I went through some pretty crazy stuff in the mortgage industry, like we were talking about. And my mom was like, look, you ought to do something that's, maybe as a side hustle, something that, somebody can't really take from you, like the mortgage crisis and the collapse in this. And I'm like, well, what's that? She's like, well, you could use your voice as a gift. Well, what's that? You could become an ordained minister and do weddings. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Nobody wants me to do it. Are you crazy? Me? This party guy, this fucking dyed white hair. Like you think that people are gonna hire me to do weddings? All right. Fast forward to 2018, 2019, where COVID came, and I really
yeah.
kind of closed that business down. Probably 600, 700 weddings I've done over the course of time. And from Florida to Alabama to Colorado, I've been all over Colorado doing tons of weddings and ceremonies. But anyway, man, again, not about me. Just trying to
Dude, but
connect.
that's a prime example, bro. Not to cut you off, but that's a prime example of why this is doing what it's doing, man. Is because people do want something different. They don't want that priest or that bishop or one of those things that
Right.
are super boring. They
Exactly
want
right.
something that's going to bring some excitement, some
Little
love, some
edge.
culture,
A little
a little
edge.
bit of an edge to it, right?
When we
That's
celebrate
you.
this, just love each other, and it doesn't have to be like if it's a man and a woman. It just
Right.
has to be like whatever it is. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, man, I've always kind of been this guy that never really had an opinion. And I think growing up in St. Petersburg, Florida, this melting pot style area where tourism has just been on this epic height ever since I was in high school. And I've got people from Germany, people from, Czechoslovakia, people from Brazil. They come from all over the world and they stay in the hotels on St. Pete Beach. So, dude, I ran valet. I was a bellman. I mean, that's like I was a chef in those restaurants. I mean, that's like the culture of like this melting pot, and having to shift and adapt and understand different languages and kind of, not be like, well, I can't understand the way that guy talks, so I'm out of here. Like, whoa, bro. There's a lot
Right.
more to life than that. You know what I mean? You
Uh-huh.
just gotta have a little bit of thick skin but yeah, man. Anyway, yeah, dude. Yeah, appreciate that.
I love your hustle, bro. You've been doing it since day one. It's why you are where you're at. I mean, let's keep it real. That's why you're there. So,
Thank you,
um,
man.
dude, I know that like we're talking about 303 does, but it makes it that much more fun when the other person who's running it has had the life experiences that you've had. And so, I mean, dude, if people don't go into Dub Life Diaries, they need to go into fucking Joe and learn more about you because man, you just bring a lot to the table. You're the type of people that we want to be around all the freaking time. If you were
Oh,
in Colorado, you have no choice. We would jump you in for sure. You'd be like, "Hey, you're going, bro. It's in."
hey, I'm gonna have a second home in the Rocky Mountain National Forest here, probably in the next 5 years. So when I do, I'll have a
Done.
couple dubs in the garage, and then when I come out there in the summer, we hanging for sure because it's too
I
damn
love
hot
it.
here in Florida. All right, I got some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay, let's go.
These are questions that demand a fast response, but if a story comes of it, I ain't gonna stop you. All right,
Okay.
you ready?
Yeah, let's roll with it.
Pretty much, I know the answer to this one, but I'm gonna say it anyway just to hear your voice say it. Air cooled or water cooled?
Air cooled.
All right. Beetle, bus, or Gia?
Dude, I own a Beetle, but bus all day.
Okay, now what kind of bus? Split,
Oh,
bay,
split.
split. Okay, yeah, man, I
Yep.
can take it. I've got a Gia.
Yep.
I've had a split. My favorite bus of all time is an early bay. 69, 70, 71. My favorite bus. I don't know what it
Yep.
is. The nostalgia. I have to have a loose nuts, windshield, safari windshield on it.
Yeah.
It has to
100%.
be slammed on the ground. I think that's just the 90s and the culture I grew up in, lowrider culture. But yeah, man, nobody ever gets to ask me these questions. But for me, it's I have a Gia, it's my wife's. I have a Beetle, it's a 62. I want the damn bus. I don't have a bus yet, but I
100%.
want the bus.
100%.
All right. Best road that we're driving on in Colorado.
Oh man, best road we're driving on in Colorado. Sorry, I know you wanted a quick answer on that, and it's funny. I've actually thought about this one. It's probably I love Boulder Canyon. I like going up Boulder Canyon. So I actually don't know what the name of the road is, but the road that goes up Boulder Canyon, absolutely freaking gorgeous. No potholes. Holy shit, can you believe that in Colorado?
Hey man,
Um,
they got all that
and
money from weed tax, baby.
That's right. That's
They
right.
be, they
And
be
you
fixing the
end
roads.
up in Netherland, Colorado, which is just gorgeous. So, to me, that's one of the best drives. Being from a north side of Colorado guy.
Okay. So I'm a talk on this. I don't know if this will make the podcast though. Speaking of weddings and doing some, okay. When I was there, this last stint, I was there from 2012, no, sorry, 2014 to 2018.
Okay.
And I did a wedding in Telluride.
Oh yeah.
And bro, when you come down around and you're on the other side of the Rockies. And when you come around these I forget the name of the road down there. Is it I-25? I think it
No,
might.
it's not 25. You take 25 to
Oh,
another
it's
road, and
50.
that
It's
takes
Highway
you.
50. It's
Yeah.
50. 50 goes south and wraps way on down there and I think it's Highway 50. Anyway, regardless of what road it is, when you were just saying that, I was like, oh, the road was so smooth. Parts of
Yeah.
that Highway 50 as you're going down there, don't they call it is it called the $1 million highway?
Yeah. You won't catch me on that shit because I'm scared of heights, but yes,
Oh,
that is it. Yeah.
yeah, bro. I would do anything to take my Volkswagen and run it up Skyline Drive, run it over the Royal Gorge Bridge like I did in my mom's Mazda 323 when I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
I love that area. And I just saw some guys. It's called Buses by the Royal Gorge. I just
Bro,
found their
Trent.
Facebook page just a couple of weeks ago, and I tried to connect with them, but they just did their event. I think May 5th
Yeah,
or
it
May
was last
6th.
weekend.
Yeah, did you see that, bro?
So
It was
that's by a guy named Josh Green. I think it's Josh Greenwood. He runs PPAC, which is Pikes Peak Air Cooled. That's their show, or
sick.
one of the things that they do. I think they're part of that.
So dope,
Cool
bro.
as shit.
I tried to
Fully.
reach out to them because I want to have them on the podcast because I got like core memories in
Yeah.
off Highway 50 in that whole area, Fremont County, bro. My mom basically had me help grow, like me grow up there. I started visiting the
Right.
downtown Canyon City. My mom had a house on 5th in college from the time I was 13. So I came out there 14, came back for the summer of 15. Came back for the summer. I was 16 and learned how to drive a stick shift. I told you in the beginning. She sent me out on Skyline Drive in a 3-speed Jeep with a V8 on Skyline Drive. I don't even know how to drive yet, dude. And yeah, yeah. And if
Better
anybody
figure it
knows
out.
Skyline
That's what she
Drive,
was
baby,
thinking.
yeah,
Better
those
figure it
hikes,
out.
those will take you to a whole nother level. They call it Skyline for a reason. That shit is crazy up there, but
Right.
no bumper rails. You're yeah, man. Yeah. All right. So we talked about best roads in Colorado. Let's go back to you. One car that you'd never sell.
One car I would never sell is my 1971 Volkswagen Beetle that I currently have, and that's because it was my first one that I had. It wasn't my brother's, it wasn't my friends. It's my first one. I will play with it. I'll do all kinds of stuff with it. I've already know that my daughter Sophia has claimed that shit when I go to be home. And so that car will never be sold ever.
Love it. Okay. If money was no obstacle, no object at all, what would be a dream VW build that you would put together?
Bro, 23 window, freaking, I
Split.
mean, split, slam
Yeah.
that shit, airbags,
Oh,
freaking,
I
probably. I
just
mean,
I
even
just
though
saw
everybody
one.
does, yeah, well, even though everybody does Fuchs, I probably throw some Fuchs up on that. A ridiculous system, and I would, bro, come on. And you know what I would do with it though? I would drive that shit every day. I don't care how much money I spent on it. I
Right.
would drive that shit every day because I feel like these cars are meant to be driven, and that's
Yes.
what I would do with it. But that's my dream, ultimate. That's what I would do.
I just saw one. It was either Mecum or it was Barrett Jackson. It was a late 50s 23 window. Absolutely gorgeous, fully redone car. Dude, it sold for over $200,000, bro. Let's go, man. Let's
All
go.
right, so I got some more money to make, bro. Let's go make it
That's right.
happen.
That's
That's
the
it.
right attitude, baby. That's the right attitude. All right, how about this one? What's the most overrated VW in the VW scene? Overrated.
Oh, most overrated VW,
Yeah,
bro. I don't. I can't overrate a VW. I love all VWs. Like there is not one that I would be like, no, I wouldn't do it. Right? Um,
I knew you weren't going to say split bus, and that's honestly my most common answer. Because I've had some guests on that are like 6'5", 6'7". They're like, bro, I don't fit in one. Right? They're
well,
like,
pull a shack, put that seat back where it belongs.
yeah,
Bring the Safari up top more so your head can stick out. Look like the
right.
Flintstones. I don't give a damn. Find a way. You can customize everything today. Find a way. But
All right.
um,
How about
honestly, I don't have an answer for that one.
that's okay, man. How about underrated? Not overrated, underrated. What's the most underrated car?
I would probably say so. I'm gonna say one that's not very common. I don't even know the type of it. It's the one that they used to roll around, um, World War II that looks like a milk truck. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do actually. It looks like a mail truck. I'm trying to remember the name
Yes.
myself. It's I thought you were what you were first describing. I thought you were going to say was like a Type 181, like a thing. But no, you're talking about the small two-door boxy cab.
Oh,
The front kind
yeah.
of comes down. I just seen one on Marketplace. It was
It
like
would go 23
35.
window to that for me of the
Okay.
next two vehicles that I'd want to get.
Sick.
Like because it's so rare. You don't
Super
see it.
rare. Yeah.
Super rare.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
rare I don't even know the freaking name of it, man.
Yeah, right on. I don't either. So, but when I put this podcast up, I'm gonna flash the name of it and I'm gonna flash what it looks like because I know exactly what you're
Hell
talking
yeah.
about. I'll send it
Love
to you
it.
though first to make sure we're talking about the right thing. We are though. All right. Describe 303 dubs for me in just 3 words.
Freaking no drama, fun, culture, family. Sorry, I had to throw family in there.
All
It's a big
right,
deal.
no problem. All right. How about this one? Describe the Volkswagen community for me in just one word.
Family.
Family. I can take it, brother. I can take it. All right. Where can people find you if they want to get connected with 303 Dubs?
Yeah, man. So we're big on social media: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. All three of those. I'm on all of them. And just look up 303 Dubs. You'll find us. We're the only ones out there, and that's it.
What's the next event? What's the next show? What's popping? What should
Yeah,
people pull up to? What are we promoting?
dude. Next event, Denver DubFest, August 1st at Mile High, all air cooled. Joe, this is gonna be an epic freaking show in Colorado. This is going to be just one of the best things that we've ever had in this particular scene out here. The people we have coming, we our DJ is rolling up in a freaking bay window that opens up into his DJ booth. I mean, a lot of our vendors are rolling up in bay windows that are made out to their business. Like, we are making this all about the air cooled. We're working on the sponsors now, so that show will be coming up soon. But man, you do not want to miss Denver Dub Fest. The fact that you could say I was at the first Denver Dub Fest is going to be so much fun 5 years down the road when you've seen us go from, let's just say we get 150, 200 cars to 500 plus. You're gonna be like, damn, I was there. I remember that.
Yeah, love it, man. Love it, love it. Definitely going to be a bucket list for me. Grant Aslan also has the Volkswagens on the green. That's
Next
another
weekend.
that's a bucket list for me too, man. Looking at the drone shots and just seeing what he's built and what that is, it's like it's mind blowing for me, because when you look at the drone shots and it pans out and it goes to the cars and it comes low and then you see the
Yeah.
mountain range in the background, I'm like,
Yep.
yo, I don't have those anymore, man. I miss them. I miss them.
And some of the stuff that me and Grant have talked about is just like how Grant VWC, I'm over here at 303 Dubs, but it's so important that we have these different clubs and the things that we're doing. It's so important that we have Volkswagen on the Green and the Omera show and all these other things, because we need to give people different options and different things to go see.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
all air cooled. You can't come to my stuff if you're water cooled. You can, but you're gonna be parking with the spectators, you know what I'm saying? But we need Volkswagen on the Green. That's been around for 31 years.
Yeah.
And Grant took that stuff over, I think, as a president like 4 years ago. And I'm telling you, without Grant, VWC is in a whole different world right now, because he's the one that is like the face, the one that's putting it out there on social media and stuff like that. So, man, it's so important that we put all the bullshit of like, hey, you're in that club, I'm in that club behind
Yeah,
us, and
yeah.
that we actually
Totally agree.
it's a community over competition, right? And so the
Oh,
community has got to be so much stronger than any kind of competition, because there's plenty to go around. If you go to California, 1303, Wolfsburg, Wolfpack, freaking Volkswagen, Roland, or Oil Drippers, dude, they're all at the same shows
yeah,
because they all support each other.
right.
That's the shit we need in this community, in every spot, every scene that we're in.
Bro, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And that I gravitate towards that because there is a little bit of cliquish nature, down here where I'm at in the Tampa Bay area, West Coast, kind of Central Florida as a whole. But
Yeah,
I agree. You got to see past that, see through it. There shouldn't be any cliques. There's enough to go around. You know what?
plenty.
When I look at it from a business standpoint, I talk to a lot of, my background's HVAC, and I talk to a lot of HVAC company owners. And I
Yeah.
say all the time to them, yo, stop undercutting your competition, man. Like, don't talk bad about them. Talk good about them. Build them up. There's enough business to go around. And I feel like in the Volkswagen community, it's the same way. There's enough Volkswagen fans, enough Volkswagen people that own these cars to go around. And the more you're cliquish and the more you're, kind of talking shit about the other clubs or the other scene or how you do things different and they don't, the less people are going to flock towards you. It's about togetherness. It's about bringing everybody together. So I vibe with that, man. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, brother.
Anything you want to say to Dad?
Hey, you know what? Dad, I freaking love you, man. You have instilled into me why I do these things. He's always been a man of community, a man of bringing people together. He was a business agent in the Teamsters. This is what this guy does. And that's where I get it from. I love you. I appreciate you. Keep fighting, and I'm gonna keep fighting with you, and until it's time to go home.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Dub Life Diaries. Thanks for riding along with us and diving into these incredible stories of the people in the dubs that drive their dreams. If you love today's episode, don't forget to subscribe or hit that follow button so you never miss an adventure. Do you have a story to tell or know somebody else who's living the dub life? Awesome! Reach out to us. You can find us on all socials at Dub Life Diaries, or shoot me an email. I'm not hard to find. dublifediaries@gmail.com. Until next time, keep the engines humming and the wheels turning, and always follow the road that inspires you. This is Joe Person. I'm signing off. I'll catch you on the next ride.